Welcome! Well, welcome to our new channel, JJ.
Välkommen till den nya podcasten.
Bienvenidos a nuestro nuevo podcast, JJ. We have 3 languages right now, 3 welcomes ways to say it. Because the main idea of our channel, it will be to exchange these Swedish and Spanish languages, cultures in our podcast through some news. What do you think about it, Jay?
I think it's a very good idea. So you can practice Swedish or you can practice Spanish. If you're Spanish speaking, for Spanish speaking persons and Swedish speaking persons who are interested in the other language somehow for some reason and want to just practice and hear about maybe a cultural exchange as well.
Yeah, that is pretty nice. As you can see, I am a Spanish speaker, a native Spanish speaker, and Jay is a Swedish native speaker.
And your name is?
My name is Jose, by the way. I didn't say anything.
And my name is Jay.
Exactly. So that is fun. Well, that's why you can see our podcast is going to be called JJ. Yeah. Well, our main idea is obviously talking about the language, practice our languages and our cultures, but we're going to focus in some news. What is the latest news in different part of the world? Because the good thing about JM is as he is Swedish, we right now are in Stockholm, but very soon I'm going to move to Sydney. So. And I have all my culture in Latin America, so it will be funny. It will be very good for us to talk a little about all these cultures, all these exchange and news about what is happening in the world, you know?
Exactly, and we will start from the Swedish perspective, then reading some Swedish news news in Swedish sources, and we will discuss it and talk about all the words quite detailed and see if we can what it means in English, what it means or through English we can see how you would translate it to Spanish.
Yeah, that is pretty good. And something I started to talk with Jay about this podcast was because my experience here. I've been living in Sweden for a year and 2 months, 3 months mostly. So one of the things that I found when I was living here, it was difficult to me to find good news for me to read in English or in Spanish, even though, because almost all the news here are focusing in Swedish. And by the way, most of them are paid, paid websites.
Yeah.
Maybe I was bad used to, because in Latin America, for me, as a person who born in Venezuela and live also in Argentina, the news there, at least in an online way, were free. You know, maybe you have a special section that you can pay for some special news or newsletter, specifically like notifications, but you don't pay for the news. Have been all the time been like this here in Sweden?
I mean, before it was the paper, the physical papers that you had subscription to. It costs, of course, to get the news, and then when the news started to move from paper to the web, then I guess it quite quickly turn into paid sites. The biggest news sites. So, but there are some options that are free, of course.
Well, in that case, for example, because I obviously Venezuela and Argentina also have the newspaper, but in this case, in Argentina, no, in both countries, I think there were couple of newspapers that were for free. It was the typical little one, the short one. Usually this one was supporting more one side than the other because it was free, obviously. I mean, it wasn't that objective. But here in Sweden, you have that. Obviously, also in Argentina, in Venezuela, we had the newspaper that you pay in the street, you buy them. So, but here in Sweden, you have this newspaper for free and also the paying ones.
I mean, some sites are free, or most content is free, and it depends on the site. Some have just a couple of articles free, and you have to pay for most of the content, and some are the opposite. So you have to just pay for the.
But in this case,
extra.
You are talking about websites.
Yeah.
As a physical newspaper.
Yeah, of course there are still physical newspaper, but I think less and less people are using those. There was a time quite many years ago, I don't know, maybe more than 10 years ago now, when it was a boom of physical newspapers that were free, at least in big cities. In Stockholm, I remember they started like some paper called City, I think, Metro and City, they were standing outside metro stations and commuter pendeltåg stations, and they were giving them for free in the morning for people who were traveling. So, and it was like first one started, and the second, and the third, and that was like, but that was an era. It's totally gone now.
So right now that we are talking about this, I think the people should know how to say newspaper or in Swedish, in Spanish, obviously also. So
tidning.
That word for me is so funny, because it's difficult. I just learned that word some days ago, I think, after being here for years, 1 year, sorry. So tidning is in Swedish. So in Spanish, it will be periódico.
Periódico.
Yeah, el periódico. But when you talk about tidning, is just the paper or is in general the news?
It's not general the news. It's I would say it's a physical magazine. Jag har läst det i tidningen. Jag läste i tidningen. I read in the news. So it's kind of saying I read it in the news. Jag läste i tidningen. But I think you don't use it like that anymore because we have moved away from the physical papers. So now you don't say tidning any longer, even though Aftonbladet, Dagens Nyheter, Svenska Dagbladet, all those sites have a history of being just paper magazines. So then you said i den tidningen, i Dagens Nyheter, i deras tidning, eller i Svenska Dagbladet, i deras tidning, i tidningen. But now I don't know what you call them. News sites.
Yeah, because when there is online, for example, in Spanish we'll say las noticias, in general. The websites of the new websites, los sitios de noticias, páginas de noticias. But if you want to refer specifically at the paper, it will be the periódico.
That's the physical paper.
The physical paper.
When you said nyheter here in Sweden, news. Then exactly. You meant historically. You meant the TV, the television. News.
Okay.
Yeah. So the news, the nyheter was not exactly the periódico, tidning.
Well, I think that also happened in Spanish because we'll say las noticias. And las noticias could be in TV. It's like a typical TV. But right now we are getting used to the news more in the online websites. So you talk about this like the las noticias, but almost if you have to specify if it's in TV or. Most you have to specify if it's in TV, I think because everybody right now is reading in mobiles, in computer,
and it's merged together. The paper version and the TV version has merged together because now on the website it's both the text and videos. So it's that distinction is not. It doesn't mean anything any longer. So tidning och nyheter and periodico and
Noticias.
noticias
Exactly.
has been, that's like old words. We don't really separate it in that way any longer so much.
Yeah, we say general in my case, noticias. And for example, you say that also could be magazines. You don't have other word for magazines. We can talk about periódicos y revistas.
Y revistas?
Exactly.
What's that?
Revistas are magazines. So you can have a magazine, news magazine, like a revista de noticias. I think that exists. I'm not sure that much, but yeah, like it will be more a magazine focused to the news, more serious topics, financial topics or something. But also you have the typical teenagers or fashion magazines.
Yeah, that's magazines. And
exactly.
what is that the revistas?
Revistas, it's the same. It could be a revista de modas, fashion magazine.
Modetidning.
Oh, how is in Swedish?
Modetidning, modemagasin, eller mode. But I would call that, to be specific in that case, I would say tidskrift.
Tidskrift?
Tidskrifter, tidningar och tidskrifter. That's more like a magazine. Because magazine we have borrowed from English, of course, when we call it magazine. But we say magazine here as well. But modetidning, en modetidning. Kan du köpa en modetidning till mig?
Okay. But you said tidskrift. So that is specifically for fashion? For mode?
No, it's for any topic.
Okay, yeah. So I can say modetidskrift.
Ja, en tidskrift av mode.
Tidskrift of mode. Okay. I love that about Swedish. It's funny because we think that we are so far away, so separated of Latin language, you know. We have it's supposed Swedish is Germanic language. But I don't know. I think maybe because the connections that Sweden have with France is like you have a lot of words close also to the Latin language.
Yeah.
You know, because it's closer mode magazine, mode tidskrift, to Spanish moda. Yeah, like what is las revistas de moda, than fashion magazines from English that it's supposed it comes also from a Germanic language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe you noticed that because I haven't thought so much about that. I have been thinking, we have some peculiar words here and there from French, like parapluie or like gratin. Yeah. But I thought that most of the words in Swedish come from German or like Germanic sources. But it's funny that you notice that there are a lot of Latin influences as well.
There are a lot. Every day is like when I knew a new word. I learned a new word in Swedish. It's like this is so similar. And now I'm playing a game in the mobile that is called Word Feud. I think. Word Feud. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I never heard that word in English. And it's exactly about like a kind of a Scrabble, but you can select in the language. And right now I'm playing it in Swedish. The funny thing is I'm not that totally fair because I look in the dictionary in the Ord book.
Ord book?
Yeah, in a Swedish Ord book. The words, you know, like I just write down a letter like A and start to look the words because it's online to play with friends and you have the time to look for it and make the word. Yeah, but it's good because also I've been seeing a lot of words similar to Spanish, so that is interesting. I would like to end, if you want, with commenting a couple of the news about Ukraine. Yeah, that we have already here selecting kind of the 5 topics about what is happening with Ukraine.
Yeah.
No?
So we can start to read it in Swedish here. This is from Aftonbladet, a short summary of what has happening lately, or very recently in Ukraine conflict, the Russia-Ukraine conflict. 5 punkter. Detta har hänt. Här uppdaterar vi löpande 5 punkter som sammanfattar de senaste stora händelserna.
Okay, what I understood from that obviously is the fem punkter. It will be the 5 puntos. Yeah, I think when you say punkt is the same that dot in English. Punkt. Okay, so 5 pounds, five things about the what is happening in Russia, in Ukraine with Russia. So detta har hänt. Detta har is this one here. It will be
this. Yeah.
But this is har from half. Yeah, can you pronounce the difference between har here and har from half?
Här is here.
Här.
And har.
Har is to have. Har and har.
It's because it's the letter a with 2 dots.
Yeah, exactly. So funny because this letter never. I think at the beginning I thought the letter a it will be difficult for me, but I think that most difficult in the time for me have been to know how to pronounce the letter a. Because I sometimes I try to make a sound like an e sound, like a, but it's not, because it's like a very open a. It's a. But I think it's funny because the difference with the vocabulary, the alphabet in Swedish and in Spanish or English is that you have 3 vowels more, 3 more letters. That is o, a, and a. Please correct me.
Yeah. Usually you say them you say o, a, and because that's the order in the alphabet.
Okay, for explain this for our audience, it will be the oa is an a with a ring on it. The a is an a with 2 dots on it, and the a is a o with 2 dots on it.
Yep.
Funny thing, the only way I try to remind myself how to pronounce the last one is that you said like a you are trying to throw up or something. You have something stuck like there. So it's kind of that down sound because you also open your jaw. It's like a.
That's funny. But I want to ask you, when you're thinking about what to say, you make a sound, just a vowel sound. When you're like talking and then you don't know exactly what to say, what sound do you make then?
But in what case? Because I know I didn't understand very well that question.
When you're just thinking, when you're talking, but then you don't know exactly how to finish a sentence that you have started, then you can make a vowel sound until you exactly, and that's the a sound.
That is the a sound. Okay, it's good to know. But well, that is the a dubs or the o.
No, not the o, the a. Because you were asking how to remember the a.
That's good.
Yeah?
Because I try. I feel it like when I do it, like a propose like that. I'm trying to say a word that I'm not sure how to pronounce in English. A propósito in Spanish is that you do it because you wanted to do it. Propósito. On purpose, obviously. Sorry, I just forget about it. Okay, on purpose. A propósito. How is this in Swedish?
On purpose? No.
On purpose?
Avsiktligt.
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 Avsiktligt. That sounds good.
Med avsikt. You can also say.
Med
Med avsikt.
Med
with an avsikt purpose, but you can also say avsiktligt. Then it's adjective, I think.
Avsiktligt. Okay, well, we can keep with this. What I wanted to say was that when I do it on purpose, avsiktligt met siktligt, I try to do the deeper sound of the E, so like no, but it's not that. When I do it naturally, like I think that is the sound. So, well, that's good to know. So, we'd say 5 punkter, det hör hand. This hand. What is hand?
It has happened.
It has happened.
So
okay.
It's a past of hända.
Okay. So, här uppdatera vi löpande. I know this word, löpande, I know that it's in past. Yeah? Because it's the day at the end. But can you read this for us in English?
Here we are updating continuously 5 main points that will summarize the latest big events. The latest
events. Oh, so that it will be in Spanish. 5 puntos que están aconteciendo. That hand, how would you translate in Swedish? Sorry, in English?
This has happened.
Okay. 5 puntos que han acontecido, que han pasado. That is the title of the news. And is aquí actualizamos los 5 puntos sobre los hechos, sobre los últimos hechos que han acontecido. And it will be in Spanish. The title is 5 punkter det har hänt. So, 5 puntos que han pasado. That is it's funny because you already translated for me something, but it's confused me in my mind because it's that hard. That it's like that have. It have happened. It have happened. So 5 puntos que han pasado, que han acontecido. This in Spanish is a good word to know. Maybe acontecer. It's not a typical word that you're going to listen to hear when you are having a normal conversation for somebody, but when it comes about news, a document or something, acontecer, something that happened, is more formal. Yeah, that pasar, also it could be 5 cosas que han pasado, 5 cosas que han acontecido. Yeah. So, aquí actualizamos los 5 puntos que han acontecido, que han pasado en los últimos eventos. De ukrainska städerna Lunds och Dnipro. Well, I let you please to read.
De ukrainska städerna Lutsk och Dnipro har nu attackerats för första gången, skriver BBC. Alla ska ta skydd, skriver Lutsk borgmästare på Facebook.
So I think I have the main idea, but städerna Lux is like Lux is a person here.
No, it's a city in Ukraine.
It's a city. Oh, okay.
Städerna, you know städerna means
the stay. No,
it's the cities.
Cities, stad, from a stad. Okay. Las ciudades de Ucrania, Lux y Dnipro. I don't know if I pronounce it right now this well. So the cities of Ukrainian cities, Luz and Dnipro, las ciudades de Ucrania, Luz y Dnipro, han sido atacadas första gången, han sido atacadas por primera vez, dice BBC, alla ska ta skydd. escribe Lux Burgmästare på Facebook. This last part, can you explain us what is this? Alla ska
everyone should protect themselves, find shelter.
Okay, this is like the first thing that happened in Ukraine, you know, I feel, no? It's like the first topic was when there was the first attack, that is the första gången, the good things to know in Swedish. Första gången and go until, yeah. Första gången is in Spanish, la primera vez, the first time.
First time, yeah.
And go until is otra vez. Otra vez, una más. Usually when the people ask for another song, when somebody is doing something and you want to repeat it, is and go until. Okay, it's otra vez in español.
Yeah. En gång till. That means, literally it means one time. Yeah.
Two. One time two.
Yeah.
It's still because still is like a preposition, I think, of direction.
Yeah.
Like
you
go
to.
Two, exactly.
So it's a bit strange
expression. Okay, so this was the first thing about Ukraine when the first cities were attacked, the Lux and Dnipro, and the first thing that said that they escribe.
They have been
write down.
Lutsk and Dnipro, it was not the first cities being attacked. But this was the first time these cities were attacked.
Well, the first time that these cities were attacked, they just write down in Facebook, like, protect yourself. O sea, ellos escribieron en Facebook, but it would be funny who is they? Who escribe in Facebook?
Lutsk Borgmästare.
Borgmästare is?
Mayor.
The mayor. Okay, el alcalde. In Spanish, the mayor, el alcalde, ¿sí? So, el alcalde de Luz, ¿sí? Él escribió en Facebook, alla ska ta skydd, todos busquen refugio. I think this is a right translation. So, todos busquen refugio. Everybody get a shelter.
Refugio is like a refugee.
Refugee, exactly.
Refuge. Skydd in Swedish is like, it's shelter.
Yeah, it's the same. And because you say refugee for the people, but you don't have any other word like a refugee. Something.
In Swedish, no. Flykting. Yeah.
That's funny because you say refugees for the people that are refugee. For the people, yeah. But it's not relative to the word refugee, shelter. Well, because in English there is a refuge also. I think I'm pronouncing it wrong right now, but exists refugio in English, also shelter. Oh, I have problems here with the internet right now. Shelter, there is no another synonym. A refuge, refuge. Yeah. So in English exists the refuge for refugees, but you don't have the word for refugee maybe.
No, not in Swedish. That has to do with that has the same origin. But I think we say flykting. That's someone who is fleeing from something. Flykt is flee.
Flying out of, maybe. Flee.
Escape. Or
escape,
like
okay.
Trying to escape. Flee.
Flick, exactly. Look, it says that also you have the word refuge, but maybe it's an adaptation from English.
Yeah.
Refuge.
Yeah, it's totally an adaptation from English. So, well, the second topic, el segundo punto, andra punkter. Yeah?
Andra
Okay.
punkten.
Andra punkten.
Do you want me to read?
Yeah, please.
Den ryska jättekonvojen som var 64 kilometer lång och rörde sig i sakta mak mot Kiev har nu splittrats upp, uppger företaget Maxar Technologies efter att ha granskat nya satellitbilder.
Okay, that was a difficult one. I'm reading also. So, the first part, then Rizka is the way to say to the name of Russia country, Rizka, Rishka. So
The Russian.
the Russian. Jate kunofenje. I don't know. Can you read again that word?
Jättekonvojen.
Gattekonvojen. So when you read it, it's easier for me also to understand what it says. So first of all, I would like to say to the people the meaning of the word jätte. You know, it's good that you use it a lot. It's like for something that you want to do bigger. You know, like too much, many. I don't know how to translate exactly this in English because I think this is so from Sweden. You know, like the language is too Swedish, I would say, because jätte you can say very, many, a lot, but there isn't a specific translation. Or
I would
there is.
say, if I would translate it something I say jätte into English, I would probably use super.
Super. Okay. That is funny, but you use it a lot. But well, in this case, it's a convoy. It's maybe this big tank or this big car for the wars, for the military cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, convoy. Yeah, convoy in Spanish is similar to this. Convoy is the big car where the military goes, where the military people go. It's not the one for attack. I think I don't have very good knowledge in military things, but it's not the one which attack. It's the one who the military used to transport themselves. The convoy.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So in this case, the jättekonvojen, it will be the big convoy. Funny thing, you told me you will translate in super, but in this case, the right word it will be big. I think, no?
Then it would say den stora ryska konvojen. But if you use jätte, then it's really, because jätte, the word literally means a giant, the creature, the big monster, the giant. So it's something super big when you use jätte.
But you could mean that jätte could be also stora.
No, because you can say jättestor, then it's super big.
Yeah, so it's super. We can let in super.
You can't use jätte to only describe the word big, but it has the meaning big, but it's like you put it's a prefix before the word. So you can say jättetyst, super quiet. So then it's something that is, or jätteliten, super big, super small.
Yeah, it will be so super. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, in Spanish, I think something similar. Maybe I don't know sure yet if I'm using very well the word. Something similar that in Argentina is super popular is the word re. The prefijo is called prefijo re. So,
Re.
for example, exactly. So, if you're going to say that something is good, esto es bueno. If you want to say the yete is esto es re bueno. You know, it's super good. Re bueno.
It's like is it related to recap? I mean, to use it again, like repetition. Is it?
Yeah, it could be. I don't think. No, I don't think so. I think it's an expression. It's an official for the Real Academic Spanish. I never translate this word. La Real Academia Española. The Royal Spanish Academy will be. I think they validate this re. It's not. I think it's not for repetition. It's specifically a prefijo. I don't know how to say prefijo in English.
Prefix.
Prefix. So a prefix made for exaggerate things.
Yeah. And is it only in Argentina and Spanish?
We use it in around Spanish speakers, but the funny thing is that in Argentina they use it for almost every word. I think any speaker Spanish speaker will say some couple of words with re bueno, as I told you before, is more typical. But The Argentinian people will say also, no, it's re. It's like they using a lot the re for like every word. So I could say also Porteños, no, because it's important to add that it was living in Buenos Aires, where the people is called Porteños. I cannot tell for all Argentinian people maybe, but a lot for the Porteños. And also in the case of Venezuela, for the people call it Gochos. Yeah.
Gochos?
Gochos is the people that live in the Andes zone, from the Cordillera de los Andes. And these are 3 states, yeah? Trujillo, Mérida, y Venezuela. Sorry, Venezuela, y Táchira. So these 3 states have the Cordillera de los Andes in Venezuela. The biggest mountains are in Mérida, but Trujillo and Táchira are part of it. But funny thing that is happening lately is that usually they want to say that the Gocho is most specific from Táchira. Why this happened? Sorry if I came out from the topic, is because Gocho was a bad word before. We had a bad meaning. It's like a meaning of dirty. Yeah. I want to, if people like, we can talk about other this kind of words around the cultures. So the thing was, if this word was bad before, when we start with the movement against the government, the dictator in Venezuela, so we start to use this word as a good thing, like a be proud of being Gocho. And it's not like be dirty, but for us it means just our nationality, I don't know how to say, for where we are located in the Andes, so the Andes are called Gochos. So the Táchira state was the biggest one in the fight against the dictator there in Venezuela with the government, the dictadura, you will say in Spanish, I would say, sorry. So as Táchira was the big one, we start to say Gocho, 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 and so even though Mérida and Trujillo also are Gochos, but most of the people were going to say right now that the Gochos are from Táchira. So that is out of the point, but yeah.
Okay.
Well, so here we were talking about the Denriska Yate convoy, so the super convoy from Russia. So convoy is the same word in English, in Spanish, convoy. We wouldn't say the reconvoy, as I explained before.
Okay.
Maybe in Buenos Aires they could say reconvoy, but it sounds weird. So, like I don't know how to translate. I think we don't have a specific translation for this in Spanish. It will be el gran convoy, the big one, el super convoy. But this in Spanish will sound funny. It's not that official from a newspaper or something. So we don't going to use it, I imagine.
It's a bit unconventional to use it in use.
Also,
it's a bit more like spoken colloquial language.
Okay, so we are in the same situation in this case. Som var 64 kilometers lång och rörde. What is rörde?
Moved.
So it was moved 64 kilometers long.
No. Which was, some var.
Some var, which was 64 kilometers long. Was long. No, what I mean, the convoy?
Yeah. So it must have been
64 kilometers?
Yeah. That's why it's jättekonvoj. It's super.
How that can even move?
So many. I don't know.
Okay, we have to check on that. No, news. It's pretty crazy. Okay, or maybe I misunderstanding the meaning of what is a convoy. So Maybe
A line of...
it's a line of a lot of militaries.
Yeah.
The convoy, in this case, can be used like the group of militaries.
Exactly.
Okay, that is understandable, because for me a convoy is
who
like
are-
a car.
Yeah, but I think it's several cars in a line.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
So, Ogrur say is secta mock mood. Like a secta is
I sakta mak, that's a Swedish expression. Mak, you never use that word. Otherwise, I have never used it in another context than this expression. I sakta mak, in a very slow pace.
Okay, they were slower. So, el super gran convoy de Rusia fue que era this which war in Spanish you can say que era, el cual era, it will be el super convoy de Rusia, el cual era de 64 kilómetros som var 64 kilometer long, que era de 64 kilómetros de largo, y y se movía muy lento. Sí, och reder sig en Saklamok, el cual se movía muy lento también. Se movía muy lento en dirección mut. I like it because this is a word, a long word for, no it's a word, it's a sentence, a long expression in Spanish. In dirección a, we have to say in dirección a, you say mut.
Only 3 letters.
Mut, exactly. So in dirección a, it will be the same in Swedish, mut. Yeah.
Towards.
Towards. In dirección a Kiev. It is the capital, and Kiev. Sometimes they write it different. So, har nu splittrats upp.
Splittra is a scatter, like
Spread.
Yeah.
Spread around. So, se dividieron.
Splittra upp, that's an expression, like split. I don't know exactly how
Spread
to...
is going around everywhere.
Yeah.
So it will be se dividieron in Spanish, you can say, but also you can say se extendieron. Yeah, se extendieron. I think it's the right translation from spread, extender. So se extendieron alrededor.
Now I remember when you add up to a word, so like here, splittra is the verb to spread, but when you add up afterwards, up means up. So splittra up, it means it's split so much so it disappears. It's totally. So for example, we have brinna up, that's burn until it's totally burned down.
Exactly.
But in Swedish we say up instead, up.
Oh,
So
okay.
it go up, blow up, you know.
Se extendieron totalmente.
Yeah, so
It happened. It happened like they already are extended.
Yeah.
Like a spread around.
Spread and disappeared totally.
They are spread out. I think this is the right expression in
Yeah,
English.
out.
Spread out. So in Spanish it will be the same because we don't have this kind of difference. Se extendieron alrededor. We don't say the difference between they are extending. Maybe when we say ellos están extendiendo is in gerundio. The verb, the gerundio verb, the ing verb in English.
Ande.
ing verb, for example. Yeah, that doesn't exist, by the way, in Swedish. That made me crazy every time. So this kind of continuing happening. So we will say
Actually, here löpande is something like that. Something that is continuously.
and it's in past.
This is not in past.
Löpande is not in past.
It's from the verb löpa, run. But then when you add löpande, it's something that is running.
Really?
Yeah.
But this happened with all of the verb in Swedish? because I never heard it before, like something like that. Because the main thing that we always been learn about Swedish is that ing in English is almost doesn't exist.
Yeah,
in
it
Swedish.
does. I can say du är pratande nu, but it sounds a bit weird, but it's grammatically correct. You are talking now. Du är pratande nu.
Vi är pratande. Why you add the new? That is the funny thing.
No, actually, this is not how you say it. You can't really say vi är pratande. No, it's not correct Swedish. But it's the same way. It's the same way of creating a verb from or creating this type of gerund. Maybe it's called.
Gerund. Yeah, I have to look for the word in English. The gerundio.
I think it's called gerund.
Gerund, yeah, gerund. The present particle. The gerund. So,
yeah.
But it will be some specific case, maybe so in Swedish.
We can use it in some cases, but not every case.
Okay, so as we were telling, they explained themselves. They explained how ellos se extendieron. Uppger företaget. This is a store, företaget.
A company.
A company.
Yeah.
And uppger is the company? No.
Uppger is a verb. They're saying. I would just say says.
Says, okay. They say, they comment. It will be more like a comment. A comment.
Yeah.
Okay. They comment, the store Maxar, o sea, la tienda Maxar, la compañía Maxar, Maxar Technologies, comentó efter att ha granskat nya satellitbilder. Okay, I get it. So, la compañía Maxar Technologies comentó esto que estamos this that we are talking about, esto que estamos hablando, about the 64 kilometers long convoy. Ellos comentaron esto después de haberlo visto, after they saw the picture from the satellite. The satellite.
They saw and they also looked very carefully. Granska, that's...
granska is very carefully.
Yeah, carefully look and
So, ellos comentaron después de haber efter att ha granskat satellite. So, I think it's analyze, maybe.
Analyze.
Okay. Ellos comentaron esto después de analizar cuidadosamente, could be, analizar la nueva foto del satélite.
Exactly.
Yeah? Okay.
That's right.
If I need to translate what I said this in English, it will be, I was saying that the company in Maxar Technology, they analyze, after they analyze carefully the new picture from the satellite. Yeah, so they say this. They said, sorry. So I think we are going along with this, but well, we can keep talking about this. I feel like I was more an introduce for the audience for what we want to do.
Yeah.
For explain a little what is happening with the news around the world, here in Sweden, maybe in Latin America or in Australia.
And short pieces of news text, but also analyze the language in quite detailed way, as we do.
That's what we want to do, and we want to be open also for any comments, any advice, any tips from anybody that would like to hear from something special or have any questions. We will try to leave all the information in the description or in the podcast. I don't know, this really is funny because it's my very first podcast, so I don't know how going to be to do the description or everything, but I'm going to be sure that I'm going to let you know how to get all our information.
Yeah, it's my first podcast as well, so it's very funny.
So thank you so much, Jay, for being with me and start with this crazy project.
Thank you, Jose.
Well, we will see you. We will be talking so sooner.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you for listening.
Thank you guys. Gracias por escucharnos.
Tack för att ni lyssnade.
Okay, so it will be. I would like to say in Swedish, and you try to say in Spanish. I don't know.
Okay.
Goodbye. Hej då.
Adios.
Yeah, it will be, but in Spanish we have this difference. So sounds better to say hasta luego.
Of course. Hasta luego.
Yeah. Hej då. Bye bye.
Bye.